Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a very special episode of Wrestling with the Future. I'm your host, Anthony DiMangelo, joined by the rowdy one, Killer Tim Kilroy. Killer, how the hell are you, my brother?
I'm all right. I'm often imitated, never duplicated. That's for darn sure.
Oh, have mercy. You scare me when you talk like that, man. Killer, we got a couple of legends tonight. One in particular we're going to feature. One is a friend of ours, come by to say hi. So let me tell you about our special guest tonight. Bruce Swayze was born in 1940 in Kirkland Lake, Ontario, Canada. He began his professional wrestling journey under the tutelage of famed Canadian wrestling coach Jack Wentworth at the tender age of 18, while still playing hockey and being groomed for a career on the ice. But within very short order, he would put away his hockey jersey, hang up his skates, and look for a very colorful pair of wrestling rainbow tights to make his name and forge his way. And so was born the beautiful one, Beautiful Bruce Swayze. Among the promotions he called home were CWA, IWA, IWF, the IPW, WCW, BTW, and the USWA. And as a matter of fact, he has a rather well-known cousin by the name of Patrick Swayze. The late Patrick Swayze is, in fact, for shoot, a cousin of Bruce Swayze. And so, ladies and gentlemen, with that in mind, and our guest, welcome to the show. This is Beautiful Bruce Swayze. How are you, Bruce?
I'm doing all right. I like that promo. Yeah, you just did a great promo there. I like that. That's my kind of talk.
Beautiful.
You did. Thank you so much for the interview. Or the
You're quite welcome. That's my background in radio.
We love it. We love it. Scott Case would love it too. Right, Scott?
Absolutely. I've got to brag on you. You know, Bruce told me about, I had a brain fart. You know, it's fun being old. You forget things all of a sudden. But it'll come to me in a second, right in the middle of whatever we're getting ready to say. It's so much fun. But
I love when Scott Casey does this.
Okay, I've got it. I want to brag on Bruce. Do you know who he played hockey with? Any of you guys know besides Bruce?
I have no idea.
Alex Trebek,
really?
God rest his soul. Yeah, she showed me pictures of him, and I couldn't believe it. I said, "Well, you son of a bitch, you did know him." Yeah.
Played hockey with Alex
anyway.
Trebek. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I played on celebrity hockey team out of LA for about 3 or 4 years, and we played with a lot of the NHL players, the older timers, and that was my game. My father's a professional hockey player, and but I had a wonderful time playing celebrity hockey. And Alex actually was come from a town not too far from where I came from in Canada. I came from Kirkland Lake. He came from Sudbury, and we've known each other for years, and we toured together and played hockey together, and he was a great guy. And you know, when I lived in LA in the valley there in Studio City, he lived around the next hill from me, and so we were actually pretty close all them years, you know.
Wow, that's remarkable. I got to ask you, Bruce, how did you come to know my friend, my pal, my compadre, the guy they call the Cowboy, Scott Casey?
Oh, I wrestled him many times. How's that for a starter?
There you go.
I met him. I met Scott.
The son of a bitch always beat me.
No. As a matter of fact, I got to tell you something. I shouldn't say this to you because it's going to make your head big. But one of the toughest matches I ever had, I actually had traveled from Canada down into Charlotte, and I had not much sleep. And I was working with this Scott Casey, and we were in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'll never forget it because when I finished the match, I had trouble getting back, so I stopped in the back of the arena to get my breath. I was out of gas. He blew me up. I'll put it that way.
Wow.
And I didn't want to tell him that.
Oh,
I was sucking wind.
You're so full.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what.
He's full of shit.
Surprised me.
I tell you what, he was one of the easiest matches I ever had, and believe me, I had a hell of a lot of them in my lifetime. But I'm telling you, he really was great timing, great execution, I
Well,
mean, and the
Cowboy,
man,
you know, I'm
and
glad
he
you
was
talked
better
about that.
looking than me too. And it pissed me off because he was better looking than me, and I thought I was pretty good looking, but I guess he beat me to it.
Well, Cowboy, let's talk about that. They say wrestling, Beautiful Bruce, was like having a night off. So Bruce, let me
Absolutely.
ask you about that. What was the key to your success in the ring, and early on, by the way? You have this reputation as being naturally gifted. Your timing, as Scott said, your delivery. By the way, your physique was unparalleled at the time.
Almost like mine.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't go into a career in bodybuilding. You were jacked up, brother.
Well, there was times I was pretty jacked up. Yes, I was. And then Scott Casey too. You know, he was the woman's dream. When I came into meet, when I first heard about this guy, you know, it was like he was unreal. He was also a hairdresser. I hate to tell you that, but he also did hair.
Yeah,
And
right.
he used to cut the hair of the boys. Yeah, I swear. And I always remembered that from, you know, he was pretty popular with the lady fans. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
that.
well, you know, I'll tell you what, Bruce. We got a mutual friend, Eddie Mansfield, that will attest to all the above. I'm going to throw the first question we have. I'm going to throw it right to Killer Kilroy. So, Timmy, go fire away, brother.
Okay. Yeah, Bruce, here's the question.
Yeah.
I've read all over the place, from one wrestling book to another, to the internet, to whatever, right? That you and Eric the Red drove
dear.
Cowboy Bill Watts crazy. Can you tell us about that?
You know, God bless Eric. I think about him every day. You know, I met Eric back in 1970, and we toured together for 3 years or longer, and we were everywhere together. And what a great performer! What a great worker! Unbelievable for a big man. I never met a guy like him. He had quite a reputation, and he was just great to be with. And I knew his family, and I loved the guy. You know, we had so many great times.
And Bruce, as you're telling that story, Bruce, the people at home right now are looking at a couple of pictures of you and Eric. I believe from might have been from either Universal Wrestling Federation or United States Wrestling Federation.
Could have been, yes, it could have been. You know, we traveled in territories together, and we used to we went to Oklahoma together, and we had a pretty good run down there. They looked after us pretty good, and we used to drive Bill Watts. We get him going pretty good, you know, and we did a lot of miles there. If we worked in Oklahoma, you were on the road a lot, and Eric was just a great guy.
Yeah, as Killer kind of brought up, you know, you got under Bill Watts' skin. I heard that it wasn't real difficult to do that. Can you give us a little, maybe me and the Killer, a little insight into Cowboy Bill Watts?
Yeah, I call him Large William. I love Bill. He brought me into, I was in Puerto Rico, and he was booking at the time he was booking in Florida. And he brought me in there from Puerto Rico, and he was so good to me. And then he booked me in the Carolinas, and then he booked me to Oklahoma. And I love Bill Watts. You know, I used to get under his skin a little bit, and we used to have some pretty good times just talking about stuff. But he was great, you know. And
well, you mentioned the Carolinas just a moment. That was probably under the Jim Crockett Sr. might have been, right?
Yeah, it was he had just passed away, Jim Crockett.
Oh,
Sr.
it was okay. So it was Junior, Jim Crockett Jr. Okay.
Yeah, and of course they had a great crew in there. I'll tell you that, from Valentine to Dusty, everybody came into the Carolinas.
Oh, sure.
And the spoiler, Don Jardine, and they had a great crew there, just great workers, and we did we had a lot of towns and a lot of travel, but it was just a great spot. And I love the Carolinas, I must say. And I think you did too, Scott, right?
Oh, absolutely. I cut my teeth there. I didn't know hello from sick'em as far as wrestling went until I got around all these guys. And they would, you know, I cannot remember the guy's name, but I had a match with him, and he called about 10 or 15 high spots in the match. Okay. And I'm trying to remember all this shit, right? And I'm greener than goat shit. And he said, I messed up one spot. And he took Frank Morrell. Do you remember Frank Morrell?
Oh my God!
We were tag team.
Anyway, he said, Tennessee. He said, if you mess up the spot, I'm going to break your neck. It scared me enough. I did not miss the spot. But I'm honest to God, back then they would. It wasn't let's get in the back room and we're going to talk over the high spots. We did them in the ring. You know,
yes.
I mean,
yes.
I was
everything was done. Yeah, you better get them right.
Yeah,
that's right. I was going to say you better get them right, or you get your ass kicked. You know, and you learned. You know, I mean, it was something. You just, you know, it was ingrained in you. I mean, guys like Tim Woods, Johnny Valentine, like you said, Don Jardine, all these guys that I'm being repetitive here, but they demanded that you know what the hell you were doing there. I wrestled against Ole and Gene Anderson.
Yeah.
And only one time, and I'm greener than goat shit. And like I said, I was with Les Thatcher, and I'm out there, and before the match, the only thing that Ole said, whatever you do, not how you do it, you better go 100%, and or else they're going to beat the shit out of you. You know, it's expected, and we did. You know, and it's just.
Well,
I learned a lot from those guys.
I heard Ole's philosophy was it doesn't matter if you fuck up or you do it right, just go for the gusto. If you're going to fuck up, do it big.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I learned a lot. I was scared to fuck up.
Yeah.
You guys worked at a time when, Bruce, you're largely known as a singles wrestler, so is Scott. But the both of you have had some incredible tag team runs. In fact, Bruce, I'm not mistaken, you also managed a couple of tag teams.
Well, I was at one of the Kangaroos with Al Costello.
Sure.
He brought me in, and it all started in Indianapolis when we were working for the Bruiser. And he brought me in as his tag team partner, and that went well. And,
when did you and Spoiler Tommaso get together?
Pardon?
When did you and Spoiler Tommaso get together?
Tommaso? Who?
Spoiler Tommaso.
Spoiler Tommaso.
Who the hell
I think
that?
You just invented that name. I have no idea.
Don Jardine was a spoiler. And
Angelo, quit drinking that wine until after the match.
There were two guys. There were two guys that wrestled under Spoiler.
Well, that was
Don Jardine was one.
Frank Burrell, and Don Jardine was the original.
Don Jardine was the original.
Right.
There was also another guy named Marco Tommaso.
I don't know him. I worked against Tommaso, but not as a spoiler.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's what I was getting at.
Okay.
I used to take his money playing cards. I used to play cards with him in the dressing room. I'd take his money.
There you go. Did either of you guys have a chance to work with George Becker or Johnny Weaver?
Oh, I worked with Johnny Weaver many times in Charlotte.
They say he was a little smug.
I did too.
Can you?
Well, he was part of the office, you know. He was part of the office, so you had to follow the rules.
You know, Weaver, he was part of the office, but he had the shittiest punch I ever saw in my life. I swear to God.
Really?
But he got over with people, so who cares? That's my own personal opinion.
Well, they say that Johnny Weaver had a popcorn punch.
I don't know.
Yeah, it needed a little salt and butter on it.
Well, he could have, you know.
Oh shit.
But he was a good guy, Weaver. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the territories back in the day. So before we get to the big break, which I believe what Killer wants to cover, it happened up in Buffalo, I believe. Before we get to that, let's talk about the territory of Puerto Rico. And you wrestled extensively in Puerto Rico for Carlos Colon.
Yes, several times. I was in there 3 different times. And we went in there, Dalton and I went in there to work against Carlos. And, oh, God, they had the belts in and we got the belts. Carlos and, oh, God, I can't think of his name. I can't pull it up now. But he was Puerto Rico.
Jose Gonzalez?
Well, no, was it not Gonzalez? Oh, God. Oh, not awful. I can't pull his name up. I see him right in front of me now, but I can't pull his name up.
Oh, wow.
And we got the straps.
You're having a senior moment.
Yeah, we
it's
that's
rare.
I have a few.
It's rare.
I have a lot of those right now. But we worked against them. We got the straps, and Dalton and I, Puerto Rico was on fire when we got over there. I'll tell you, it was unbelievable. We did great business over there. And
Bruce,
it was I was over there. It was really dangerous.
Were you down there when our friend? I'm a friend of Barb Goodish, Bruiser Brody's widow. Were you down there when Frank was there?
After me. He came after me.
Also, Frank.
But I knew he was in Florida. Was it Florida or Carolinas? He was in, and we buddied up a little bit, and then he got sick or something for a little bit, and he had to go home.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen him again after that. Of course, he came back and he was wrestling, and of course that brutal thing that happened to him was in Puerto Rico was just unreal. Just unbelievable how that happened, and nobody, it was just buried. It was very sad.
Yeah,
he was a good guy, and he got a great family, and it was, I know the whole story, and it's just terrible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and, his wife Barb Goodish is a very dear friend of mine.
Sweet. Very sweet lady,
wonderful lady. She's been on the show here 4 times already with me.
Yeah,
wonderful
and
lady.
his son too. His son's wonderful too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, great kid. Great kid. Looks just like his father. I'll tell you what, he looks like his daddy, man. He sure does.
Yeah.
Now, one territory, and I'm sure because I know Cowboy was either followed you there or was there when you got there. Working the coast for Roy Shire in San Francisco. Yeah. And I believe while you were there, you may have teamed up with Baron Mikel Cicluna.
I worked with Cicluna a lot. And as a matter of fact, he roomed with me in Florida when he came down. I had an apartment in Tampa, and he became my roommate. And then with Gene Lewis also, we had a nice place in Florida. And then J.J. Dillon came down, and he stayed with me when he started down there.
Yeah. And JJ is also a good friend of mine and a good friend of the show too.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Great guy. I love JJ. Hell of a guy.
Perfect gentleman.
That's JJ.
Yeah.
Now, either one of you guys want to take this one. What was it like working for Leroy McGurk?
Well, I mean, Leroy was good with me. I'll tell you that. I don't know about Scott. I'm sure he was, but I like Leroy. I had no issues. Watch was booking there for him then, and they treated me fine,
I went in for one shot for him, and he was a very nice man, and nice payoff that he gave me, and that was the only time I was ever there because I was committed to go to Japan or something like that, and that was
I'll tell you a little story about when I first. I'll tell you a little story when I first came into Oklahoma. I came in. I had a long trip, and they had me in the big place in Tulsa, and they had me working against Selena Rodriguez. I heard about him, but I didn't know him.
Yeah.
And they had a full house, and I'm in there to work with him, and I didn't know that he was a mute. He.
Oh wow! Yeah.
I mean, handsome bugger, and he had a valet was his wife. And anyways, I was tired. I did a lot of miles that day. I drove from St. Louis all the way in, and I remember it was snowing, and I went in there that night, and of course went to the ring and all, and Danny Hodge was there.
Yeah.
And so anyways, we started out doing a 30-minute Broadway or whatever it was. I don't know, something like that. And then they came in and buzzed me and said that we got to go longer because Mephisto was stuck in the plane somewhere in the snowstorm, and he's going to be late getting in.
Oh, wow.
So I was gassed already with Soleno because he's up and down like a racehorse. And you know that, Scott. You know how he worked. He was a great worker.
Oh yeah.
And I was out of gas. My ass was sucking wind, boy. And anyways, this went on, and Hodge come running out, I swear, and he threw a bucket of water on me. I swear. This is we got a full house there, and he threw this water on me. Hodge did. And holy Jesus, I was glad he did. And anyways, that was just a little thing that went on there, and that's when I got to know Soleno, and then we did some road trips later down the road, and he was a character, and and a great guy, and all. But that was one of the ones I remember very well.
And as you're telling your story at home, they're watching a slideshow right now with you and some of your famous friends and co-workers, guys like Antonio Inoki and Terry Funk. Lou Thez, of course.
Terry.
You and Lou Thez were close friends for years and years.
Let me tell you.
Here.
Let me tell you a little story about what happened.
Well, I want to ask you about this particular picture I have. It's you and Lou Thez, and interesting, right next to you is a young Randy Macho Man Savage.
Oh God, I worked with him. I worked with Randy. His father was my partner in Puerto Rico, Angelo. But Randy came in, and I remember him. We worked together. He worked as a spider then. He came in, and he was playing AA ball with Cincinnati. He was Cincinnati farm team, and we'd work most of the time in Fort Myers. And Randy was so nice, Then he said, and I remember after a match, he come up to me and he said, "Swayze, I think I'm going to quit baseball and go to stay in wrestling full time." I said, "Well, God bless you, Randy. Your dad was a great one." And I said, "God, I wish you all the best." And we've been friends. God bless his soul. I think about him.
And I'll tell you what, right now, also the people at home, they are looking at. It's an interesting piece of film. It's a very buffed up, beautiful Bruce Swayze, and you're facing a guy who also had an interesting nickname. They called him Charming Charlie Ziegler.
Oh, Tommy Ziegler.
Oh, Tommy. Yeah, there you go. Tommy Ziegler.
Oh, what a guy. What a worker. Yeah.
Yeah, they're actually watching this match right now. Tell me your memory of that match.
Oh, God. Tommy was such a good worker. I worked with Tommy several times. I don't know which one it was, but
this was a television match for. It was actually.
Did I go over or did he go over?
Yeah, it was
Who
actually
won the
TV match for the UWF.
Yeah. Well, Tommy, I worked with Tommy several times in different places, from Nashville to wherever. And just a great guy. He was a gentleman all the time and a great worker. And I think I got a little nasty with him in that match, didn't I?
Yeah, you got a little heated toward the end of that. I thought it was going to end up being a DQ, but you won. But you won a clean, decisive victory. One of the few that you won.
One
of the few that you won.
One of the few I won.
But I'll tell you what, Killer Kilroy wants to ask you about that big break in Buffalo. Killer, go for it, brother.
So it was like 6 years after you started, correct?
Right.
And how did you make that big break in Buffalo?
Well, I mean, I was actually Johnny Powers, who was a big card. He went to New York, did well, and then he was in Buffalo, and he became a big name. And they called me in there if I'd like to work there with Pedro and Johnny and everything. I said, absolutely, And Buffalo was good to me. I love Buffalo. The territory was on fire. Valentine was in, all the top guns came in, and it was a good place to work. I enjoyed it. The only trouble we had was the weather, the crazy weather in Buffalo with the snow. And, oh, my God, Ernie Ladd was with me then. I was his partner too, you know, and I managed him, and we had tag teams together and stuff, you know. And he's one of the dear friends of mine of all times, Ernie Ladd. He was a wonderful man.
All right, can you tell us about your time in Detroit?
Well, I was in and out of there. They'd send me up there from Nashville. I'd go up there. They'd fly me in. Ernesto was doing the booking, and he'd bring me in there. And I worked with him, too. And you know, I mean, what can I tell you other than, you know, I enjoyed it. They were good to me. The Sheik was great to me. He actually got my working papers to work in the United States.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that was Eddie Farhad, the Sheik, the original Sheik.
Yeah.
That was instrumental in getting you your paperwork.
Yes, he did, and he was wonderful to me, and he looked after me, and I always respected him forever, and his wife Joyce was lovely too, and it was a good territory, you know. I mean, they had a lot of great workers out of Detroit. I worked with Bobo many.
Oh my God,
yeah, and
Bruce, where did Beautiful Bruce Swayze come from? Where did the beautiful moniker come from?
Okay, let me tell you the real story, okay?
I heard a couple stories here, brother.
Well, I'll tell you the real one. Here's the real one, and Scott will appreciate this. The day I was born, my mother picked me up, and she looked at me, and this is the story I got. She said, you know, I'm going to name him Bruce, and I'm going to call him Beautiful Bruce. How do you like that?
I heard that. I heard that.
Wow.
For shoot.
Yeah.
I heard that story.
That was right there. Yeah. Mom called me Beautiful Bruce, so that was my handle. And so I just kept it. And a lot of people didn't like it.
The other story I heard was that a hairdresser gave you the name Beautiful Bruce.
Well, no, Scott didn't. No.
No, I didn't.
Scott was a good hairdresser. I went over to his apartment one time, and this is true. I wanted to get a trim. And he said to me, I can't, I'm too busy right now. He had 3 women in there doing their hair in his apartment. I said, geez, this guy's got it all going on.
That's
I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something that's going to be nasty, but that's me. On Thursdays, I had a special. I had a special on Thursdays for the women. I do their hair and their snatch to match, same price.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. All right, can we get back to Puerto Rico?
I can't help it.
And that's true, too. He did.
Oh, I know. I believe. Look, I know Scott Casey. Trust me, I believe it.
Scott's the man now.
I can't help it. I was
Scott, and he drew the women. Yeah.
Go ahead, Timmy.
Well, my mother. I have to say, my mother was the reason for that because she made me pretty. I'm not pretty anymore, but she did. But when I was there, look out.
Man,
it was.
Everybody said you got to meet Scott Casey. The son bitch is on fire.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a hell of a worker. I must say that in front of him. I'll tell you, he was a great worker.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was.
You know, Bruce, I've got to tell the story again about. Are we there yet?
Not Brute. No more Brute.
Oh, God bless Brute Bernard, a 6'2", 290-pound guy, and had the face only a mother could love. And he was French Canadian, and Bruce said, "Watch me mess with him." I said, "What do you mean?" I didn't know anything about ribs back then. We get in the car. We go to the 7-Eleven. We're doing the bologna blowout. We're doing the beer. And
we're coming from Norfolk down to Charlotte. Right.
Oh, God. 440 miles from Norfolk, Virginia, all the way down. I'm going, Bruce, would you quit? He kept saying to Brute, are we there yet? Must have asked him 50 times. All of a sudden, the mustard, the ketchup, the pickles, the bologna came flying up the back seat. He said, I kill you, cocksucker. That was his name to everybody. I'm sorry, folks. I kill you, cocksucker. He said, and Bruce is laughing and sweating. And Brute has got a stranglehold on him. And I'm trying to pull this big bastard off of him, and Bruce is laughing his ass off. He can't quit laughing. He can't say, are you sure we're not there yet? Oh God.
Who was
That was
driving
the
that day?
one thing.
Who was driving that car?
Oh,
Sweet Hanson.
Sweet Hanson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I
He
know
stops
that.
the car in the middle. He stops the
Well, I had
car.
to do something.
and we're on the
Everybody, I was tired of sitting.
Yeah, well, you get bored sitting there and you listen to the radio and everybody bullshitting.
Well,
And
Scott,
when we
wait a
started
minute.
this,
Hold on a second, guys. All right, Casey, you didn't tell the best part of the story, Scott. You gotta tell everybody what happened when Sweet Hanson slammed the damn brakes on.
Yeah, we're going down the freeway, and all of a sudden he slams on the brakes. I thought, God, we're gonna die. Cars are passing us doing 70, 80 miles an hour, and we get back where we were, and he said, "You motherfuckers!" He said, "I'll kill all of you if you don't find my teeth." He had taken his teeth out and put them on his lap, and he had a little white handkerchief there. And thank God we found it. I mean, here's a guy that was, what was he, about 6'3" or 4", weighed about 340. I mean, he was a big man.
Boy.
And I thought, Bruce, we're going to die. And we find his teeth, and thank God nobody had run over him. I couldn't believe it.
Oh,
That's the only thing that saved us.
That was the best part.
And Bruce, and Bruce is still going, are we there yet? I'm going, you're going to get us killed.
Well, I'll tell you what,
that
that's a great segue, Scott, because Bruce, we're there yet. We are there. So I'll tell you what, my friend, you gave us 30 minutes tonight, as promised. I appreciate you. I got to have you back for a full show, though. Can we do that sometime?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Well, I know you got to go. You've got, and this man, I will tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, this man truly does have a full plate. Before he came on the show tonight, he did at least one television interview I know of, and was building another addition onto his house.
We did I'll tell you real quickly here, guys. My wife is a songwriter, Bonnie, and she has a couple of big hits with Hank Jr. and Billy Carrington, and she wrote a song with her co-writer, Stampley, and they wrote a song called Tougher Than Funk, and they're playing it all over Amarillo and hold it. Say, come here, Bonnie. I got my wife here. She's going to tell you. I got my wife here. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Hi there. This is Bonnie. Tony Stampley, the son of Joe Stampley of Mo and Joe fame.
I know exactly who they are, Bonnie.
We wrote a song called Tough as Funk, and it was a tribute to Terry Funk, and it's being played at all across Texas. Now, this afternoon, Bruce did a show for NPR Radio, for Texas, Oklahoma, Western Kansas, Arizona, and New Mexico for National Public Radio. Will be on next week.
Right.
And the nice thing is, Bruce, she meant to do 10 minutes. She was having such a good time with Bruce. She did 35 minutes plus the song. So it'll be out on our website next week. We'll give you guys a shout and let you know. We'll send you a link to the show for next week.
Oh, please do. Absolutely. By the way, you're speaking of Terry Funk. I spoke to Terry actually a couple of days ago. He's feeling good. He's he's got some health issues. We all know that. That's never been a secret. He's got some health issues, but he's in good spirits and he sounds great. And I'm hopefully one of these days we'll get him on the show here. He keeps teasing me. He keeps teasing me with it, but I might have to get Cowboy Scott Case or Bruce Swayze to open up the door a little wider for me. But but Terry's a great guy. He really is.
Great guy, and you can buy the song Amazon Music. It's called Tough as Funk. I'm going to give you back to Bruce. Good talking with you.
Bonnie, I'll tell you what. Bruce's Bonnie still there?
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to have her on. We have a gentleman that co-hosts our spiritual show. His name's Pete Wilcox. They call him America's TV Elvis. He's a songwriter as well. Next week, we have a song publishing company coming on the show to talk about spiritual music. and I would love
Okay.
to have Bonnie come on either next week or the week after to talk about the art of writing music.
Yeah, she could. She do that. She do that. Yeah, she do. She's
Terrific.
good at it. Some big hits.
And I know where to reach her. I just call you.
You what?
Yeah. I got to jump in here and say one thing.
Go ahead,
You're
Scotty.
talking to a lady. You're talking to a lady and a man that have been together. I hope I get this right. 45 years. Is that right?
That's it.
You've been
Right,
married.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
right. And how she put up with your ass, I don't know, for 45 years, but God bless her. No, I'm just teasing.
Well,
But that's the truth. I just wanted to
That's
brag
funny.
about it.
Well,
that's
I'll
good.
tell you
I'm
what,
glad
Bruce,
did.
it's been an honor. It really has been an honor and a pleasure having a beautiful Bruce
All
Swayze on the show tonight. Bruce, we will have you back. I promise, Bruce, we will have you back. If you can
Good.
clear up your schedule for a full hour, that would be wonderful.
I will. Promise you, I will. And get Scott on there with me too.
Oh my God, absolutely.
You
of course.
bet.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
we
you
can
bet.
talk. We'll
Well,
have a
I'm gonna
little
let
more
you
of a
go tonight,
script
my
to
friend,
talk
because I
about.
know you got a handful. All right.
Okay, buddy, and thank you for all the information, and thank you for the kindness, and we appreciate
quite
it. And we
welcome.
appreciate the show, and Scott, God bless you, brother, and give me a call.
I will,
Honored to
Bruce.
have
I
you
love
here.
you, and
Bruce
I
Swayze,
will.
everybody.
Okay.
Beautiful Bruce
Okay.
Swayze.
All right.
Great
Bye-bye.
interview. Scotty, you still with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, Angie here. How you doing, baby? You've known this guy
I'm
a long
fine. I'm
time,
fine.
Scott. You've known him a
Oh,
long.
God. Almost, I want to say 45 years. As long as he's been married, I think I've known him.
Yeah.
You know, a class act all the way around. You can't deny that at all. He really
Oh,
is.
no denying
And I
it.
just
And I'll
love
tell
him
you
to
what.
death.
You know, I could see the two of you working together. You know, you got that handsome cowboy good look, and he's got a body like a Greek god. He was built, man. I'm gonna tell you what, he was packed.
Yeah, he was. He
know?
was stacked all the way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
You know, I
Yeah.
want people to know. I didn't mention it while he was on the show, but I'll say it now because I know he won't hurt me. But Bruce Swayze's 81 years old, and bench presses 270. Okay, I'm not Killer Kilroy. I
Yeah.
want to hear
I'd
what I
like to
just said. He's 81 and benches 270.
Wow.
Imagine that.
He,
That's
Unbelievable.
unbelievable. Now,
I'm
Yes, it
62
really
and I
is.
have trouble
And I
benching my
admire
cup
him.
of coffee.
I can't.
There you go.
I can't even bench a 12-ounce curl.
Oh, shit.
That's funny.
Yeah, Cowboy got that one.
Yeah, that's
So,
funny.
Scotty, what's next for you, kid? What's going on?
Well, I'm still pushing my book, and I ordered 50 more of them, and they go pretty quick. I'm going to try to get a meet and greet down in Temple, Texas, and push the books and the pictures and stuff. And I'm going to try to get Eddie Mansfield down there because without him, I couldn't have done it. Believe me,
Well, I'll
we
tell you
set
what. Let's
records that-
shout out to our friend Eddie Mansfield. I talked to Eddie yesterday. Eddie's doing well. He's busier than a beaver. Really busy guy. He's in, people who know Eddie's in television production, and he's got like 5 different shows going right now. So he's always doing something.
Unreal.
So let me tell everybody about your book. It's called One Last Ride, Tales of Cowboy Scott Casey. And this book is like a car ride with a legend seasoned journeyman wrestler. It's you're taking a ride, you're in the passenger seat, and Scott is just telling story after story, how he got started, some of the characters he's met along the way. It really is, and I've said this before, Scott. It's really not like an autobiography. It's more like a how-to book on wrestling. It's really like a how to survive in wrestling. That's really what it is.
Yeah, it's back in the 70s and 80s, it was so different than what we have nowadays, and you had to stay on your toes. And like I said earlier, Frank Morrell told me he was going to beat the shit out of me if I messed up the next high spot. And the high spot was, I want to say 15 different moves.
Oh,
Try
sure.
doing that, and and I thought, man, this is never going to happen to me again. I'm in Florida and I'm wrestling Ivan Koloff.
Wow, the Russian Bear.
What do they call him? The Russian Bear. Yeah.
Yeah, the Russian Bear.
We're getting ready to do the finish. He said, Scott, I forgot the finish. I went, here's a guy that is just unbelievable in the ring, and I told him what it was, and we got through it. But I thought, even the great ones can mess up every once in a while.
Absolutely, of course.
It's just, we had, and it's just like, I'm being repetitive here, but I'm talking about Lou Thesz. I love Lou Thesz, and he taught me so many different things. And he's out there one day, and I walked through the curtains behind him. I said, Lou, what are you doing here? The first match is on. He said, Scott, you can always learn, and you can always steal moves from guys. You just have to watch. And
Absolutely.
And I used that all my life. It was just as long as I was wrestling. But I mean, here was a great guy. We went to Kuwait, Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
And we're over there now. They don't drink in that country unless it's a private club.
Yeah.
We get back to Heathrow Airport in London, England, and Lou, we all start pounding the whiskey and everything, and all of a sudden Lou goes, I can't see. I said, what? He said, I can't see. I said, Lou, your glasses are on top of your head, you crazy man. But I loved him to death. I mean, he was just, even in his 60s.
I'll tell you what, Scotty, I have
a
co-host here that's chomping at the bit to ask you some questions. Timmy, you've got a legend here, brother. Start picking his brain.
Okay, well, I kind of pick people's brains, maybe the same question every week, but I get a different answer every time. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that mainly you did the territories, right, Scott?
Yes, sir. I sure did.
Okay. So the territories. Did you go into Puerto Rico with Bruce?
I saw him there. We didn't work together, but we exchanged highs and buys and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I was with Eddie Graham in Florida, and he flew us in there, and it was the funniest thing. We were wrestling there, and the population is predominantly black, and it seemed like every other person there was up in a tree or something trying to get on the matches. I thought, unbelievable that they would do that, and I'm watching. You wouldn't see that in the United States, but they didn't have trees around the arena like what we had down there. But Carlos Colon, tremendous promoter, great payoff man, and I really enjoyed my time. And I only went down there one time, but I enjoyed it. I really did.
Okay.
That's great.
I got off of
So
back
then, from what I hear, you didn't get a big payday unless you put asses in seats. Is that true?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, it's just, but that was the way it was all over the United States. If you didn't get out there and bust your ass, and the funny thing about it, when I say bust your ass, the first match, it set precedence as to how the night was going to go. You better get out there, jump in the air. You better get it, like Joe Blanchard used to say, you better get out there and shit in your hair, because I guarantee you, if you don't, the people are going to just go, I don't want to come back to this.
Yeah.
There goes your payday.
Here's what bothers me, Scott, and Timmy brings up a good point. And you also bring up a good point. The first match, you're absolutely right. It set the precedent. It set the tone for the night. it bothers me, and Timmy, I want your opinion on this too. The term curtain jerk, they use that term now for the first opening match. They call it the curtain jerk, like it's an insignificant, almost blasé position to be in.
Well, the thing of it is, it's because their style of match was nothing like what we used to do. It was always what we did. We had to get out there and, like I said, and set the precedence. Nowadays, everything is completely scripted.
Yeah.
You can see it in their moves. You can see it in the way they talk. I mean, obviously the promos were that way, but I mean the people just. I mean, the first match nowadays, you better be doing 120 and level off at 200 miles an hour, or else you're not going to get the people going. And that we weren't that way. We had to tell a story. We had to make people believe everything we did in that ring was for real. And
you know, I'm going to stop you right there. I got a very dear friend of mine, Davey O'Hannon. He said, the people believed because we believed. Is that your philosophy,
you're right.
Scott? The people believed.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it.
They did, and Davey is right. And I haven't talked to him in 100 years. And if you see him again, give him a big kiss for me. I'm
going to do better than that. I'm going to get two of you on this show next week.
Okay. Sound like a winner. I'll be glad to do it.
Well, you know, I should tell people that Scott Casey, in addition to being a frequent guest on my show, is also a very dear friend of mine. And we talk often.
Absolutely.
And I want to tell people how we met. It's funny. And I've told the story once before. Well, maybe twice before. We met at the Philadelphia Spectrum in 1985, 87, somewhere around there. You had come in for a one shot, and then I think Vince brought you back in 89 or 90 for, I think you were here for like a year, right? Somewhere around a year.
Yeah, I was there for a while, you know.
Yeah.
And still disappointed of my run up in New York, but
yeah,
you know, if you're not, the old timers used to say, if you're not figured in, you're just one of the girls in the show. And that's what I was, you know. And prior to that, we set all kinds of records in Texas at Hemisphere Arena. Me and Eddie Mansfield.
Oh, my God,
I mean, they had
Scott
thousands.
Casey and Eddie Mansfield. Oh, my God, you guys busted attendance records like everywhere you went. Everywhere
you went. Yes, we did. But, you know, it's just, like I said, I'll be repetitive here and say, if you're not figured in, you're not figured in. And I didn't know anybody up there. The only person I knew, and this was the only reason I got up there, was Pat Patterson. I knew Pat and Louie, his friend, and they were. I met him at the matches one time, and we became friends. And my mother even cooked baked chicken and green beans and mashed potatoes. What a blasé dinner! But they loved it. They had a great time, and Pat never forgot me. And when I was after that run in San Antonio, he called me and said, "You want to come to New York?" And I said, "Yes, I'd love to." And
I really wish they'd have done more with you. I really wish they'd have done more with you. What do you think, Timmy?
What?
Go for it.
Okay. How was it working for Senior? Did you work for Senior or did you work for Vince Jr.? Junior.
I worked for Vince Jr.
All right.
And it's funny. I'll tell you a quick story. At the end, I worked up in New York, and it probably almost 3 years, 2.5, something like that. And I knew a bunch of us were going to get our walking papers, and we were in Odessa, Texas. And so I went in there, and I said, "Vince, in 1990, do I have a job with you or not?" He said, "No." He said, "I want you to go down to Atlanta and blah, 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 and all this, you know." And he said, "We really didn't know that much about you." And I went, okay. But he said, I told him, I said, Vince, I'm 250 pounds. I'm hard as a rock, and I thought I looked pretty good in the ring. He said, I said, Vince, I can accept failure when given a chance to fail, but you never gave me a chance. Well, we really didn't know what we could do with you, Scott, and it just didn't, he said, probably my fault that we didn't work it out right. But he did, after that, put me on the Survivor Series, and I made a pretty good payday, and there was 8 of us, 4 on each team. Harley Race, the Giant, Dino Bravo, and I can't remember whoever it was, but anyway, they're all passed away now, and we're all still living. Guys like Tito Santana, oh God, I'm thinking Jake the Snake, another guy and me. But anyway, it was nice of him to give me a nice payday for that. Prior to that, I used to call it we were on the buttermilk run. In other words, nobody wanted to be on it, but we did it.
That was the term Larry Zbyszko used too. Tell everybody what the buttermilk run was.
Well, they usually had 3 shows a night running somewhere, and they would have not the major stars there. I mean, we had Jake the Snake. He would come there, Ultimate Warrior. And I remember telling Ultimate Warrior, he said, man, this is terrible. He said, I don't know whether I can take it or not. And I said, you're on the buttermilk one. You're making money, but not a lot. I said, just hang in there. And I told his name Jim Hellwig, and I said, Jimmy, I guarantee you, because I've been in this business long enough, I've been in it almost 20 years by the time I was up there.
Yeah.
I said, if you would just be fucking patient, because he wasn't. I said, you're going to be the next world champion. And guess who was the next world champion?
Yeah, sure.
Ultimate Warrior. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I know my talent. I know the guys. And it's just like, I'm wandering off here, but this is a good thing. Booker T and his brother Stevie Ray.
Sure.
They came into Houston, and they lived there, and they came in. And Ivan said, Scott, I got these 2 big guys coming in. I want you to look at them and see what you think. I got in there, and here these 2 came through the door. Unbelievable bodies on them, and could move around. And you only had to show them one time things. And that's what I did. And I told them, I said, look, just be patient. You'll get your chance. I said, they're going to call you the N-word. They're going to say everything about you to your face and behind your back simply because they're jealous.
Yeah.
And I said, but it'll work. And guess who was like world champion for him? Booker T was. I don't know if Stevie Ray was, but they were tag partners quite a bit. But,
they held the tag championship for a long time. Jimmy, how long did Booker and Stevie hold the tag belts?
They had to hold that tag belts 3-4 years.
I was going to say about a 4-year run with them.
They were with, God bless her, Sherry.
Yeah, Sherry. Yeah, Sherry Martel. Yeah.
What a great guy. Could probably whip half the asses that were in the ring. I mean, she was a tough broad. She really was.
Yeah.
I mean, for real.
I got to tell you, it's funny
and a sweetheart.
Sherry's best friend lives right across the street from my house right now. Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Kathy Fitzpatrick. She lives right across the street.
Really?
Huh.
Like literally out that window. Yeah.
Well, I know the name, but she was Sherry's best friend?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, my God. You kidding? Watch the show that we did on Sherry Martel. Ladies' Night Out, it was called. Yeah. Great show.
Yeah.
Scotty, I tell you what, brother. You are always here to rescue me and pull me out like the damsel in distress.
Hey, you're my friend.
We're
and
just
let me tell you real
show,
quick.
Angie.
Just like Louis Dondero, who was Pat Patterson's lover.
Yeah.
He told me one time this, and I never forgot it. He said, and this applies to you and me, not being lovers, but he said, a friend's a friend, a dollar's a dollar. You can spend that dollar, but you can't spend that friend. And that's the way I
Amen.
feel
That's
about
right.
you.
That's right.
Absolutely. And we're both girls in the show. Absolutely.
That's
Brother,
right.
I'm going to let you go. You have a great night, brother.
I thought you didn't have any balls, Ange.
That's a whole nother story. That's a different show. Scotty,
All right,
I'm going
you
to have
guys
to let
take
you go,
care.
brother. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
You got it, brother. Take care. Scott Casey, everybody. Cowboy Scott Casey. All right. Well, Killer, it's just you and us chickens over here. Good show tonight, brother. Good show. Real good show.
Great show. Great show.
So your thoughts on Beautiful Bruce?
Well, put it to you this way. I tried getting in some. I couldn't get in any words in edgewise. That's how good the show was.
And that's amazing for you not to get any words in.
I couldn't get any words in.
I know.
When
Well,
I
you know
did-
what? When you have guys like that, Timmy, that are just so full of stories, you
Just
know,
let
you
'em
do
go.
just sit back and let them roll. Let them go.
That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you got to do. Just sit back and let them go. Well, I'll
Yep.
tell you what, brother, we got a great show next week. We're going to cover ring psychology and storytelling. What happened to storytelling and ring psychology? And I got a special guest next week that's going to join us. His name is Seth Witz. He's from Seattle, Washington, and he is a historian on wrestling and boxing. And he's going to talk about how boxing and wrestling joined as cousins to each other, and how storytelling is as equal in boxing as it is in wrestling. And people would never think that, but you telling a story, just in a different kind of story, you know?
Yep.
But
I know
the
that.
psychology, how to use psychology in the ring as a wrestler, as a boxer, as a football player on the field. What's the art of psychology is missing in sport. And Seth is going to come on and smarten us up, as they say. So, Timmy, what other show ideas we got coming up? We're tossing some stuff around. What would you like to see?
Well, I was thinking, we went through it tonight, and I can't remember what the heck it was. I'm having a brain fart. But
You're allowed. You're old.
what? Well, you're so old that when you fart dust. So
This is true. Sometimes. This is true. Those
what I was
jokes, by the
thinking?
way, are like 50, 60 years old.
Well, what can I say?
Hey, they still work for you.
And you still laugh at them. So
I do. I can't, because every time I hear him, I think of Len Galloway. Rest in peace, Len.
yeah.
You created
Rest in
content,
peace, Len.
brother. I'm
Um,
telling you what.
What I would
Well, listen, I'll tell you what, brother. This was a hell of a show. It was a good one.
it was.
Everybody can reach Tim Kilroy on Facebook. You can find him there. You can find him on. You got a Twitter or Instagram, any of that,
No,
Timmy?
I don't.
Just Facebook.
Yes.
If you want to hit him up on Facebook, feel free to. You can hit me up at Wrestling with the Future podcast. Join the club. There's 320 plus strong on our Facebook page, and growing every day. Fortunately, thankfully. And so, and if you want to just hit me up, it's Angelo DeCipio on Facebook.
Mhm.
So
So here's a question I have.
Yeah.
Can I plug a show that's coming up November 13th?
Is that for Jaden?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Okay, sure. Absolutely.
All right. This show is in Millville, New Jersey. It is a fundraiser for a woman that had a medical problem.
Okay.
The guy who is running the show his wrestling name is Atticus. It's IWA Vintage Pro Wrestling.
Okay, I know who they are. Sure.
Yeah. I'm going to be there that night.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot of action.
Okay, so it's IWA Pro.
IWA Vintage Pro.
Vintage,
It's going to be in
Millville, New Jersey.
Millville, New Jersey, at what they call the Phenom Factory.
The Phenom Factory in Millville. Google it. I'm sure you'll find it. If you have any trouble finding it, just hit up Tim Kilroy on Facebook, inbox him, and he'll be glad to give you all the info. And if you want to go, hit us up here at the show, and we'll get you all the info you need. All righty? So take care on that one, my friend. Have a great evening. I will see you 1 week from tonight as we welcome Seth
I'll be here.
and Wrestling Psychology. For Tim Kilroy, I'm Psychic Medium Angelo. Have a good one, everybody. Happy wrestling, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.